Alright. Ow! Are we live? Ooh-wee. Are we live? Let me make sure this is all set to go. Hang on. Let me get this all ready. Okay, we're live. How loud is the game compared to me? Is the game too loud? Oof. It's good. Not loud, you're louder. Okay. Next test, sync test. I'm highlighting quit game. Tell me how off it is. I'm gonna say down when I hit down, and tell me if my voice is too soon or too late, if it's dramatic or not. So it's on quit game. Down, down, down. Up, up, up. Down, down, down. Up, up, up. It's on quit game again. Was that synced up just fine? Okay. Everyone says it's just fine. Too slow. Good to go. Okay. Well, whatever. Good enough. So here we go. We're gonna play. A little bit of We Love Katamari. This is a very good game. It's a lot of fun. I have not played it since it first came out. And I was thrilled to see that Julian has this game because, from what I remember, it was kind of a limited release. Not really limited, but they didn't make too many copies of it, and it was around the end of the PS2, so it was harder to come by than the original was. It's actually really bizarre with Katamari. The original was really popular over here. And I'm not quite sure why. It just kind of came out of nowhere. And I even remember reading newspapers and everything, and they would mention Katamari Damacy. Everyone was saying how good it was as a game. It's the sort of thing you wouldn't expect to have success over here, but it did. Oh, turn it down. Okay, I'll turn it down. Okay, well, hopefully that's good then. I'll turn myself up a little bit too. Mic muted. And donation counter doesn't work. Sure, it's not working. Should be working. Oh, there we go, it's just delayed. Okay, hang on. What the heck? Oh, hey. Okay, thank you, Turbo Cancer $3, saying let's get this tip jar rolling. Turn yourself up. Okay, hang on. Hang on. I thought the volume was fine, but okay. Is that any better? I have the volume really low on XSplit. Oh no, is it dropping frames now? Let me turn that down, I guess. Okay, how's the audio now? Is the audio okay now? Well, I guess you can't tell. Tell me now if the audio's okay.
The Great Cosmos. A world of mystery, both tantalizing and terrifying. Not a very well
Okay, well, I guess, I don't know what to really do about that. Everyone says like, oh, it stutters here and there, but I don't know what that means. Like, is it stuttering as in one frame got dropped here and there? Because since you're watching a stream, it could just be the stream itself stuttering. Oh, it seems like when people follow, it actually does slow it down. I just caught that one on my screen. Huh. That's pretty weird. But is it actually like stuttering, or is it just the stream maybe stuttering? It seems like it is. Twitch alerts screwing it up. Every time there's a new follower, it seems to mess with it. It's the Elgato. It's the stream. It's the Elgato. Your audio stutters too. Wait, really? Both audio and video stutters. What can I do about that? That's bad. There's something I can do about that? Not sure what to do about that.
Rolled them all up. Rolled and rolled until the Katamari was big enough to be lifted up to space to replace the shiny.
See if that fixes it. Okay, that should remove the stutter, hopefully.
Its popularity recognized no boundaries or borders, and it rolled
This is kind of a bizarre opening because he didn't really want there to be a sequel, but they said they were gonna make it, even if he didn't want to.
I want to meet the king. I think he should be bigger. The king is so cool. I want to roll up more stuff.
Is it too loud still, or is it good now?
Fans crying out from all over the world for the magnificent king to do his thing.
Oh, those are fine. Okay. Well, anyways, I really like this game. I enjoyed the first one plenty, and I think We Love Katamari is even better than the first game was. But it's not as easily accessible to people. It's hard to find a copy of it. Maybe that's changed now, but I remember years back it was really hard to find a copy of it, and people were pricing it pretty heavily online. But here's the king doing his thing, and we're gonna roll a ball or two. Stuttering's still there when there's a notification. Okay, I can't do anything about that right now, I don't think. It isn't hard to emulate. Okay, well, there's a difference. There's a difference between owning a game physically and emulating it. And yeah, this is a real good song. Okay, is it cheap now? Because that's good if it's cheap now. I remember years back, it was hard to get a copy of this. I really do. I dislike the fact that they use game markets like that. Because it can be games that aren't even rare, and they just go up in price. For example, Wild Woody. Wild Woody was $20. Wild Woody has now shot up to about $200, $300, $400 after we played it. People like being really lousy about that kind of thing. But anyways, we're gonna do some Katamari. Someone said they don't like the tank controls, but it makes sense for this game. I think you're rolling a giant ball. I think it makes sense here. I'll also say this, I guess lately, I'm not getting as bugged by tank controls in a lot of games, just because I've been playing so many lately that use them, and having a button that lets you do a 180, it's in a lot of games it usually isn't too big of a deal. I don't prefer tank controls, but I think it works for some games, and this is one where I don't mind at all that you don't just have perfect control, because that's sort of the point. You're rolling a giant ball. Did Legends 2 finally drop in price? Because that's great. Mega Man Legends 2 went for a ton of money before. That's great if it finally went down. I downed it to 720p because if you use the Elgato, it's just going to be 720p anyways. So taking it down to 720 means it'll run better than forcing it to upscale to 1080. I don't know if there's games on the PS3 with 1080. There might be, I don't know. But this is the first little bit of the game. It's a little tutorial. So this is how you run around the little ball. It takes a little bit to get used to, I remember, but you get the hang of it pretty quick. And I actually kind of enjoy how it controls. It makes it feel more satisfying to roll stuff up like this. If it was just a game that you could freely move and do it, I don't think it'd be as interesting. I really like Katamari. But yeah, I was saying it earlier. I'm sure I was very quiet when I was saying it, but Katamari was a strange success over here because there's no reason the game should have been big over here, but it was. It actually was very, very successful over here. I even remember there were some magazines, there were publications saying it was their game of the year. It was way more successful than I ever would have imagined, and it's the sort of thing where you think it's too bizarre for an audience here to appreciate it, but what do you know? It was popular. People enjoyed it. I'm gonna be also struggling a bit because I have not played this in a long time. So I apologize for that. I think you click the sticks in the turn, right? Or they're not gonna even let me do that yet, I guess. Oh, he wants me to roll over this. I'm being a dummy. And that was it. I probably should have been reading. I wasn't reading because I was making sure settings were staying consistent. But yeah, I got everything, so press the object and keep pushing. Here I am. You can, yeah, it's not gonna let me do stuff yet because it's a tutorial. But I'm sure it wants me to climb up here now. There you go. You can climb up stuff by pushing into it. It's easier when you're bigger. And there's one of your cousins. This game introduces all your different cousins that you can play as, which I really enjoy some of them more than the normal prince. I also like these weird angels. But yeah, it's royal looking. I actually don't remember that. Oh, huh. I don't remember ever having to do that. It's interesting. But you can do one of these. A vital feature if you're ever doing a game with a tank-like control. You need a 180. Not having that is a problem. And then if you do that, you can do a little dash. And then you go back. I wanted to play Chibi Robo. We were gonna try Mr. Mosquito, but I forgot. Mr. Mosquito is not a game that really lends itself to doing a video of it. You can't really do commentary with that game, since a lot of it is strange dialogue, cutscenes. Should read the donation messages before the end of the stream this time. I did last time. I always read them. I read them last time. I was reading them for like an hour last time. Maybe you left before I did? Mr. Domino's pretty fun. Mr. Domino would actually be a pretty fun one. Chibi Robo I really want to do, but I could see Chris getting bored by it because Chris doesn't like Animal Crossing, and Chibi Robo kind of reminds me of something like that. Chibi Robo is just a really comfortable game to play. It's really nice. It's a lot of fun. And I didn't get to play until later. I was at a hotel and they had it there, and that was when I first played it. You can pick your music, but you don't have many songs to pick from yet. Hydro Thunder is actually a lot of fun. I enjoy Hydro Thunder. It's weird. I didn't think I would like Hydro Thunder. It doesn't seem like it would be that interesting of a game, but you play it, and it actually controls really well. It's a lot of fun.
Are you streaming?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my god. Just now.
I didn't even hear you.
You want to be a part of it? Here, play one.
I got poop.
Oh.
I'm gonna poop and then I'll come.
Okay. Oh my god. Who donated? Holy shit. Well, let's read some donations now. Oh my god. Polygon Fighter donated $3 and said, sorry, it's not much. I've been wondering though, what do you think of the PS1 Mega Man games, specifically 8, X4, and Legends? I really, really like X4, despite it being very strange compared to the original X games. X4 in specific I still had a lot of fun with. The level designs are nowhere near as interesting as the 16-bit games, but I still think it's a lot of fun. I guess just because of Zero. Zero is so much fun to play as an X4, and just kind of makes the whole thing for me. I really like playing as Zero in X4. He sucked in X3, but they made him a lot of fun in X4. Legends is its own thing, and I remember even Screw Attack like did a video saying, "Oh, it sucked. It was such a bad, it's such a bad way of taking a Mega Man into 3D." But it's not supposed to be like Mega Man in 3D. It is really its own kind of thing. It's a spin-off. It plays completely different. And I enjoyed Legends a lot. I love how it looks visually. Legends, they really stylize the visuals and they hold up even now because of it. Legends series is a lot of fun. Mega Man 8, though, I'm kind of in the middle with. I think it's an okay game. I don't think there's ever really been a bad mainline Mega Man game, but I think it's probably the weakest of the original Mega Man series. I mean, it's animated well. It looks nice, but just in terms of how it plays and stages and everything, I think it's really lacking compared to earlier games. People give 7 a hard time, though. I actually like 7 a lot. I think Mega Man 7 is a pretty good game. Mega Man 8, though, it goes very, very standard with a lot of its level design. So I'm not the biggest on it. But thank you for the donation, Polygon Fighter. Ty Grump, thank you Grump. TY Grump donated $10. Duck G's. I was talking about the original Mega Man, by the way. I wasn't talking about X7. I was talking about the original Mega Man 7. X7 is garbage. I cannot play X7. I had to take it back when I rented it. I was furious with it. But I was already kind of losing interest with X5, especially X6. Doug G69 donated $185 and said, Seth Rogen voice. Oh shit, I'm coming. I'm gonna come. Come all over my hands. Ah. Oh, was I supposed to do the Seth Rogen? Well, thank you, DuckG69. Zaiden donated $5. Thank you, Zaiden. Zaiden, you've been doing that a bunch. Same with you, DuckGs. Benvolio. That's a good name, Benvolio. Donated $2 and said, "Hey, Ding Dong, if you do delay Trick or Treat, what are your plans for the Patreon and Bippy during the year delay? Also, what do you think about the new Samurai Jack episode?" If we delay it, we're still going to be posting updates and everything. It just means more time to put features into Trick or Treat and make it into a better game. And honestly, it's looking like we might have to delay it just because we're so far behind on it. But it means you're going to be seeing much more interesting posts on the Patreon about Trick or Treat during the next year because we can do so much more with it now. And we can get it to be the game we wanted it to be. We started really late this year on it, and we were meaning to begin in January, and we only ended up just starting essentially like last month. So we'll see what ends up happening, though. We're still focusing on it as if we're going for it now. Like we're gonna try to get it out this year, but it's looking like we might have to end up delaying it. What do you think with the new Samurai Jack episode? I'll try to be a little bit quiet about it, and I'll also try not to say much about it in case people haven't seen it yet, but kind of really very much disappointed by it. I don't think that's a major spoiler, but I was expecting the Guardian. Nope. Sorry, that got thrown out. And what they ended up doing instead, I'm not happy about. It's kind of what I was expecting to have happen, and I'm not too big on it. Not too big on it. Especially because it's playing into a pretty well recognized trope right now, and I'm not. They could have just done the Guardian. That would have been more interesting. Come up with something. The fact that there's one episode left now, where that one ended and everything, I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled. I really wish they gave this more time, or give Ashi more development or something. This is not. I'm not really that thrilled. I'm not happy that this is what it all became focused around now, and how this is how it's playing out, and how it's falling into all of this. Because I'm sure years and years back, if he was planning on an ending, it would not have been like this. I don't think this would have been the ending. I think he would have gone with that. That's why he had that whole thing with the Guardian. I think he had something planned, but now we ended up with this. I guess the Scotsman's daughters are going to show up next episode. But yeah, I'm not too thrilled. But yeah, the first 3 episodes are still incredible. If anyone has not been following Samurai Jack, at least watch the first 3 episodes of season 5, because they are stellar. They are really fucking good. It's the best thing that's come out of animation in a long time. Oh my god. And now I'm slowing down too much. Thank you, Benvolio, for those $2. Emilio, that's a very long name. 128, whatever. It's a lot of numbers. Donated $1. Will you ever play Medieval? I'd like to. I remember enjoying those games a lot. They're not fresh in my head, though, so we will probably not do so great. That could be fun, though. We're thinking about playing Jersey Devil at one point, I remember. Chris and I do not have the best memories with that game. Did you watch Symbionic Titan? I did, and I loved Symbionic Titan a lot. It definitely has faults. I think it's the opposite of New Samurai Jack. I think the first few episodes of Symbionic Titan are very weak. Then it starts finding its footing about halfway in. It actually explores some pretty interesting ideas for stories. Oh boy. Gotta catch up. Griff Grifter donated $50. Griff Grifter. Holy cow. It said, love you. Hope your company take off. Griff Grifter. Jesus. Jesus. Katisu donated $2.55 and said, hey, new to your personal content. Wanted to say love your content. What? I tweeted about the Wild Woody price jump. Oh. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out, by the way. I was assuming that's what happened, and seeing a graph and getting to know that that is actually what happened. It makes me nervous about picking games to play now. I hope that doesn't happen with more of them. Little Herschel. Oh, that little Herschel keeps coming back. 360 and said, sorry it's not much. Hope you have a great day. Well, you don't have to keep donating. None of you do. Don't keep donating every single stream. I feel bad. Admiral Sexington donated 20 and said, you're at 100 already. Will we break the donation counter again? I hope not. I hope not. I haven't even played anything yet. I have to catch up with all these donations. Nomad Boy donated $1 and said, hey Julian, Julian? Julian! Hang on, I'll get him. I'll be right back. Let me go get him. Julian? Alright, Julian will be in here in a bit, so I'll save that one for when he comes in here. But thank you, Nomad Boy. Oh, Nomad Boy also said, I have Game On 2 for Super Nintendo if you still want it. I'd feel bad about it, but absolutely yes, I'd love to play it. I have it back at home. I'm kind of sad I didn't bring it with me, because it's a very good game. Scabadoodle, come on! Scabadoodle donated $10. Scabadoodle, you gave so much already. Pink Bronco donated $2 and said, I'm curious about your thoughts on Steven Universe because you talked about Rebecca Sugar and her fragile dying voice before. Is that how I worded it? I think I did say she comes off as very frail. I don't care for it. There was a window for about like 5 or 6 episodes at the very end of the first season where I remember I was watching it only because Julian was, because it's like, oh, you know, when the show first started, it was pretty impossible to sit through because it was just boring. It was nothing. It was hard to look at, but they're setting up for something, and it's actually a little bit interesting. And then it got to that point, and it's like, oh, it was nothing, and it's just been falling apart more and more. That I really don't care for it. It was something I already didn't really care much about, and especially now, I don't care about it. I can see why people enjoy it though. I was also going to say, when it first started, it was hideous to look at because a lot of people were defending it out the door. I even remember, like, oh, well, no, they chose to do these designs. Like, they wanted to stylize them more and give them good silhouettes and everything. No, it was very clearly a compromise being made because it's easier to animate. The original pilot, and there's even artwork of redesigns they kept doing just before the show started airing, where they still were pretty complex. They simplified it just for the sake of probably having a lower budget, because you look at those first few episodes, they are really poorly animated too. They're hard to look at, they're poorly animated. I think it was just because it wasn't going to be given the biggest budget and they had to cut it back a lot more. But they started figuring out a style around the end of the first season. They actually were figuring out a better look for it. But then they started introducing new designs, and those designs are just... I cannot justify them at all. They're really, really bad designs. They look like something... A lot of them just look like fan characters. It's... like I said, I can understand why people would like it. I can't take anything from it. I really can't. Nothing for it works for me. Usually a pilot has the best animation. Okay, but consider the fact that the pilot also were the designs that they wanted to use, and the actual show looks nothing like the pilot. It's a dramatic difference for a reason. The Adventure Time pilot, yes, it's animated better than Adventure Time, but the designs were not far off. It was being done for a reason. It was probably going to be way too expensive to animate the way they wanted it to look. Since the designs were more complex, there was more going on with the backdrops that they designed and everything. It was a lot more detailed than the final show ended up being. And the art style that they settled on was not even figured out until 30 or 40 episodes later. It very much reads as something that they kind of got pushed into doing, and they didn't think it through until later on. Plus, they could use the excuse of them, like, what do they even call it when they regenerate or whatever? Which, that's what it is. It's regenerating, because there's lots of lifted concepts like Dragon Ball fusions and everything. But they did that to give them new outfits and like slightly tweak their designs. I think that's done because it gives an excuse, like, okay, we weren't thrilled how they looked before. We can kind of touch up how they look by doing this. But like I said, it's not for me. It's not for me. Can only watch the same couple of characters cry about the same issues over and over again for so many episodes before I get bored of it. Suddenly Birds donated $2 and said, "It's not much, but hope your night goes well." Thank you, Suddenly Birds. Pink Bronco. Oh, that was the one I already read. Shiverjaw donated $5 and said, "Road Runners deserved a second season." No, it really didn't. What are the chances for a Bubba/Wild Woody Fest? Bubba Fest, I'm really not sure. I've said it every stream. Bubba Fest, I'm not sure when we could do another one because everyone is always so busy. I haven't heard from Carnivore in the longest time. Rockcock's around, but he's always just very busy with his own job that he doesn't really get free time. And same goes for Chrissy. So I don't know when we would be able to do another Bubba Fest. Wild Woody Fest is something I'd like to do, though, but it would have to wait for when we play Wild Woody again on Oni Plays. But thank you, Shiverjaw. Starfishy donated $5. Thank you, Starfishy. Mr. Splindo. That's a good one. That's a good name. Mr. Splindo donated $5 and said, similarly to how Crash Bandicoot was at one point going to be Willy the Wombat, or how Sonic was once a rabbit, is the original design for Tough Bippy going to be anything other than a rabbit? No. That was how the design started. It looked a lot worse when I first did it, though. Originally, it was going to be a game I was going to try to shit out very quickly. I was going to have a limited art style, but I held it back because I didn't feel good about doing that. I have a hard time with that. I always have points like that where it's like, listen, you're spending so much time polishing one thing up that people probably aren't going to care about anyways. Try to just push something out there. So then I start on something, I'm trying my hardest to just kind of shit it out, and then I recognize at the very end of it, like, don't do this. This is garbage, you know it's garbage. Yes, you'll have something out there, but don't do it. Clean it up. So then I end up not being able to do... I was going to do that at one point. Someone wanted help with an art game, and I was just so against what it was that I just couldn't do it. I was helping someone else with an art game, though, and I feel bad that I couldn't help them with it, because with that one, I actually was interested in what they were doing with it. That one had a really nice visual style. I hope it goes places. I felt bad that I wasn't able to do much help with it because I got so busy. I'm not against the idea of that, by the way. I'm not against games like that. Just depends on what they are. But Tough Bippy that design always was what it was in terms of it being that kind of character. Just over time, I did more with it. But thank you, Mr. Splindo. Some guy with a top hat donated $1 and said, do a funny squee. I can't. Someone said, fucking play the game. I like to. Maybe if everyone stopped donating out the door, I could have been playing it. I gotta get these out of the way. I'm sorry. 3 Soups donated $8 and said, have this money. Thank you, 3 Soups. Bean Squishy donated $3 and said, I want your dick in my thrussie. Thanks for being super cool and funny. I recently had to deal with the death of a friend. Oh, I'm sorry. And your goods and gaffs. I think you meant goofs. Your goods and gaffs really helped me out. Love you and can't wait to see what you come up with next. Sorry, it's not much. You shouldn't be apologizing that's not much. Don't worry about it, especially if you're going through something like that. I'm sorry. I hope this boring stream of a pause menu helps. I'm sorry. Thank you for donating. I'm sorry. I actually don't know what to say now. That's a hard one to follow up with a response. I'm sorry. Goods and gaffs. Skipuku donated $2. Thank you, Skipuku. Skipuku, you're always donating. Maybe I'll do that. I'm sorry again, Bean Squishy. That really sucks. I had to deal with something like that a few years back, and it takes a lot of time to kind of cope and come to terms with something like that. Butch Cat donated $15 and said, are you familiar with Don Hertzfeld's work? If not, you should check out the Simpsons Couch Gag. Of course I know Don Hertzfeld. But I haven't watched a bunch of stuff that he's done in a long time. I probably should. I could stand to watch a bunch of that again. It's been such a long time. I watched like every single thing that he had done endlessly way back. So I think it's all been pushed out of my head at this point. Being squishy, you didn't ruin the mood. Don't worry about it. Reading something like that just it makes me sad because I know exactly what that's like, and I don't know how to exactly respond to it either, because I know a lot of streamers would try to fake like a sentimental moment to make them look better or something, and I actually don't know how to really respond to that, because like I said, I know what that's like, and I know how that's something that you just don't really get over for the longest time, and it's something that you don't even want to accept it as being reality for a while. It's hard to get past, but you start to at least appreciate all the good times that you had, and you try to you don't want to ignore the memory altogether of your friend. You still want to keep them in your mind. It's hard to come to terms with it. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know how to. That's a really heavy thing to end up reading. I'm sorry. And yeah, that too. Please don't donate if that's what you're going through right now. You need that money. Are you kidding me? You should be hanging on to things and trying to just kind of collect yourself. In fact, can I ask which one of these was you? I can refund the donation after the stream. I shouldn't be accepting that, I don't think. I'm really sorry that happened. I wish I was responding with more than I'm sorry, but it's also I'm being serious when I say I really don't know how to follow up with that, because I don't want to feel like it's being rubbed in deeper or anything either. Saying sorry repeatedly is probably doing just that. When it happened to me, I shut down for like an entire month. I couldn't think about anything. I couldn't do anything. So I'm sorry right now. I'm reading donations too. I should be playing the game or something, so at least there can be a distraction. But I'd like to be able to at least be able to throw you back this money after the stream ends. If you could send me a personal message, I can refund it to you. But I appreciate hearing that this is helping as like sort of a distraction, but I'm sorry this is also your distraction, because this you could be doing much better than watching a stream like this. But like I said, you should send me a private message. I'll try to refund it. I'm sorry that you're going through that right now. And I hate that I just dwelled on that for like 10-15 minutes now, because it's gonna probably read as like a Markiplier moment, like, oh, crocodile tears. I'm sorry, everybody. It's a really awkward thing to hear something like that, because that's something it's a situation that I've been in already pretty recently, so it resonates with me, and I know what that's like, and I feel really bad hearing that. And then being in a public setting like this during a stream, reading that out loud, and it's like, what do I say? What do I do now? Because it's just going to look, everything is going to look bad, no matter how I can respond to that. I mean it when I say that, though. Like, I really feel bad that that's something that you had to go through. I've known too many people now who have had that happen recently too. I have like 3 other friends who've had to deal with something like that. Julian just had a scare about that recently. He had a friend who ended up in the hospital and everything. It's no good when stuff like that happens. But please, I'm actually gonna I'm not gonna ignore this afterwards or something, or let it pass. Like if you say that no, it's fine. Can you please just send me like a whisper on Twitch with your email address? That was your PayPal's. I really do want to refund it. You shouldn't be giving money right now. I cannot accept. I cannot accept that. I'll try to keep this going though. Dwelling on this probably didn't help you at all either. I'm sorry. But thank you again, Being Squishy. I hope everything goes better on your end. I hope I hope you can kind of cope with it. I'm really sorry. People keep donating too. Jesus, this is a rough start for a stream. This is a rough start for a stream. I have barely played this game. I have so much that I need to read now, and then something like that coming up. Jeez, I'm sorry, everybody. This is something already. I'm really sorry. Butch Cat donated $15 and said, "Are you familiar with Darn Hertzfeld?" I read that one. Thank you, Butch Cat. Just play fuck donations. No, not fuck donations. If people are gonna put money in like that, I owe it to them to read what they had said. I'm not gonna just skip over donations. Yusuf CWS donated $12 and said, "Hello Dingo, thanks once again for the stream and general thoughts on Rick and Morty." I have personal bias, so I don't know if I can give an answer there, because I've known Justin for years, but I do enjoy Rick and Morty a lot. I remember being very confused how it was going to be executed when it finally started airing, because I remember the Real Adventures of Doc and Marty when that was at Channel 101, and I remember talking to Justin too. I was just asking, like, is the burping still in? Like, does it look the same? Is it still the same art style? And he was saying, like, yeah, the burping's still in and everything. I was just thinking to myself, like, how the fuck is that gonna work? You got away with that? They let you do that? What is this gonna end up as a TV show? How's this gonna work? And then it aired, and I got to see how it worked, and I'm impressed just how well it came together. I'm really impressed how it came together, and I enjoyed the first season a lot. The second season, I'll say this, around the middle of it, I remember being less interested. I still enjoyed it, but the beginning of the second season, I remember it was even listed on IMDb as like the second top rated TV show of all time, and I wouldn't have necessarily disagreed with that for a little window, because what was the one episode? The episode with the parasites that implanted the fake memories. I think that was one of the absolute best episodes the show has had, and it was consistent. Like, it was rapid fire, just doing great episode after great episode. And when it got to that one, it was just kind of cemented in my mind, like, okay, you know what? This might be the most entertainment I've gotten out of a TV show in ages. It was a really good episode. Not to mention, it was poking fun at just typical tropes, writing conventions that you would come to see in television shows and everything. It was so perfectly blended together as an episode. But I still enjoy Rick and Morty a lot. I have not watched the rest of season 2 though. What was it? I think Get Swifty was when I was more along the middle of the road with it. I was still enjoying it, but I was like, oh, I'm still having fun with this, but it's not I can't actually be like as impressed by it as I was by that episode that just aired previously, because it's like, here's the absolute best episode the show has ever had. Not to mention that just in general, this is a really solid episode of a TV show overall. Like, this is a really good episode, followed by one that I can tell was kind of on the spot and ad-libbed heavily. It was I did like that first one. I remember Justin telling me that too. Like, it's just an episode where we got into the recording room and we just said whatever and kept all of it. I remember thinking to myself with that one too, like, they let you do that? How is that going to turn out? And it was great. It was that was one of my favorite. That was probably my favorite episode of season 1. I really like that one, the TV one, which was based off of the House of Cosby's. Justin's been putting a lot of his old Channel 101 ideas just back into Rick and Morty. He had a Little Dipper appeared in the what was it? The second one. It was Little Bits was the like fake commercial, and World Peace greater than Rick and Morty. World Peace is fucking terrible. It was a really bad show. There's no humor, period. But I remember I was asking Justin that too. I was just saying, like, does Little Dipper ever appear in one of these? Because you've been bringing a lot of the stuff that you did previously back into, and he said it was in that one, and it makes sense. It is supposed to be Little Dipper, I guess. It's called Little Bits, and it's big-headed people. But which one was that? That was, I'm trying to remember what it was called. What was it called? It was Unbelievable Tales. At the end of it, there was a character called Little Dipper, and he had a really big head. And I liked how he was drawn because he had all these wrinkles around his face, so he had a really tiny face. And I was hoping it was going to look like that, but anyways, I'm getting something out of Rick and Morty that probably no one else is really going to be getting out of it, just because, like, I've known Justin for the longest time, and on top of that, I always liked the stuff they did for Channel 101. So I'm heavily biased towards Rick and Morty. I can't necessarily give like a straight answer on that could be valued too highly, but I do enjoy it a lot. Thank you, Yusuf CWS. Pink Bronco donated $1 and said, "Hey again, I'm hungry. What should I get from McDonald's?" We shouldn't be donating if you're going to go to McDonald's. You should be saving that money. Is there a place where I can send fan art? Just tweet it at me. what to get from McDonald's. I don't know. I'm not actually that big at McDonald's. If Julian was here, he could tell you. Julian loves McDonald's so much that even if we get the finest food, he'll say, I wish I had McNuggets. We just got Wendy's earlier, and he got 20 nuggets from Wendy's. And by the way, those nuggets are fucking great. They are so crispy. There's so much flavor in those Wendy's nuggets. I forgot how good Wendy's is. I haven't had Wendy's in the longest time. And Wendy's becoming a funny internet meme doesn't help. But they really are just really good food for fast food. Those chicken nuggets from Wendy's were incredible. And Julian was saying, like, yeah, they're good. I like McNuggets more, though. And what did he describe it as? He said that McDonald's uses that jelly chicken in their nuggets. And that is the most disgusting description I have ever heard. Jelly chicken? But anyways, whatever. Julian really loves McDonald's. I'm glad. It's cheap, and I'm glad he can enjoy cheap food because it means we don't have to spend as much. But it makes me sad if we ever get something really nice and he still craves McDonald's afterwards. We got Shake Shack, and he was telling me he would rather have McDonald's, and that was baffling to me. Listen, people keep donating. I know. I want to get back to playing Katamari. I need to read these. Not to mention Julian's still not in the room yet. I guess I'll be quicker with answers. Utenbon? Ute? Like get in the Ute? Utenbon donated $25. Holy cow. Utenbon. Katisu donated $3.65. It said, I already donated once tonight. My Wi-Fi went out during my first donation. Nothing's changed over the past 5 minutes. Still love your content and the way you interact with the fans. Hope the money goes towards good use. We'll be, I said it before, donations are going to be going towards our recording setup. And we're going to be trying to get new microphones soon. They're very expensive, so we are saving up for that. I'm not going to be blowing like a ton of money on anything frivolous. We're saving up because a lot of people who said use this on Curry House, even that money I want to put towards actually getting a better setup. I want to put it towards work or things like this. I don't want to use it on something stupid like going to feed my face one night. Curry House would be really good though. Oh my god. Tamago Egg said, do you still play Overwatch? By the way, Tamago would be really good right now. I love it. I know it's baby sushi because it's just egg, but it's really tasty. Oh my god. Oh, I was craving sushi earlier. Fucking Vegas rolls are amazing. We went to a really good sushi place, and I was just, because it was an all-you-could-eat thing that we did, and I was just going through everything that looked good, and the Vegas rolls were the absolute best things that because I love most sushi anyways, especially like spicier sushi. But the Vegas roll was such a perfect like balance. They're really expensive on their own. It's a good thing it was all you could eat, but it's because it's crunchy on the outside, soft within the middle. It's also a little bit spicy, but it's got this kick and like zest to it. It is so good. It's probably my favorite now. But anyways, question was, sorry, don't name yourself after sushi. It's gonna make me hungry. Your question was, do I still play Overwatch? No, I stopped playing it around February, I think. I was playing it because my old friend circle was really into it, and they moved on from Dota to playing Overwatch. And these were also the people who got mad at me because I got too high in MMR when we were playing Dota, that they would blame me for matches being too hard, so they wouldn't want to play with me anymore. So I hadn't spoken to them for like almost a year, and then one of them said like, oh, we're all playing Overwatch now, you go get that. So I got Overwatch, played it with them for like 2 weeks, but I wasn't having that much fun with it. I just thought it was alright. Wasn't super into it. And then on top of that, since I was playing it with my old friend circle and everything, it was reminding me too, just like, I don't really have too much in common with these people. Whenever I like try to make jokes or just talk to them or anything, I don't really get any kind of response. That's my least favorite thing to do, is when you try to be friendly, you try to interact in a setting like that. Because you could easily be the person who just kind of sits in the corner and says nothing. But when you just try to make conversation or talk, and people go out of their way to be antisocial with you. So if you ask something, they just don't even respond to you. That sort of thing. I was getting a lot of that, and it was just like, okay, maybe it's been long enough that I kind of just don't really gel with these people anymore. So I just kind of stopped playing Overwatch. I don't really interact with them much outside of that anyways. I was only really talking to them because we would play games every night. But it wasn't a game I was having too much fun with, and the most I was getting out of it was playing with friends, and even then, no one was usually having fun with it. I always was having a good time with it when I was playing with friends, but everyone I play with would just get mad at it. I still haven't played with Ryan, though. I think I played a little bit with Ryan, actually. I was meaning to play it with Aaron, Barry, and Ryan at some point, but I never did. Aaron seems to play it at weird times that don't line up with my end, so never really gotten around to it. But maybe that would be more fun. I don't know. I'm just not that into it. I'd much rather play something like... Because that's what it reminded me of too. I would just rather play TF2 compared to something like Overwatch. TF2, when it first came out, and when there were just a couple of patches done for it, it was a pretty balanced out game. The maps were really good in terms of layout. Everything was easy to read visually. Overwatch just reminds me that there was a game that moved quicker, was more balanced, and just kind of played better, that I'd much rather be picking up and doing again over it. Doesn't help that Blizzard doesn't seem to really respect its community, and then on top of that, Blizzard makes really questionable decisions every time they patch the game. I don't know what they're thinking when they keep patching it. Plus, they had maps that were just flat out banned in competitive play because their map structures are always really piss poor. I think Overwatch can be fun. It's not something I could ever take seriously, and I don't think it's a game that can be taken too seriously. And I just don't really have anyone to play it with, so no, I haven't played it too much. I don't think there's maps banned anymore in competitive play for Overwatch, but when it first came out, there were, I think it was 2 maps were completely banned because the advantage would just go to one team in such a drastic manner that if you knew what you were doing, you win 99% of the time, because Blizzard loves their choke points. Anyways, yeah, let's get back to donations. I'm sorry I just dedicated time to that. Lint with 2 N's. Well, also a Y. It's not spelled that way. Yeah, I could tell the hitboxes in Overwatch were bigger. Lint donated $2 and said, "Hope you're well." Thank you, Lint. It's a LYNNT. Cavengy. Oh. There it is. It's my favorite character. I think Zenyatta is the only character in Overwatch I can have any fun with. Plus, I think he's the only design I really like. Everyone else is a little too bland for me. It's because the game wants to be kind of safe, wants to be open to a general audience. I get it. But Cavengy donated $10 and said, "What software do you use to make your games? And where did you learn to code and make video games? Also, what do you think of Game Maker Studio 2? It's a lot of questions. Right now, it just depends. Depends on what I'm doing. Because I'm familiar with most things at this point. I had to... By the way, that was the worst. Previous company I worked for, they gave me source codes to Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo games. Not to mention a console that never even got released, and were just expecting me to break all of that apart on my own. So I had to do a lot of reading and just figuring out on my own, because I wasn't handed documentation on that kind of thing. It was really interesting. I don't really hate them for it. It was interesting. It was really interesting. But I'm familiar with plenty at this point. But even at that point, that I could probably code something, just doing like C# or like falling into raw coding or something like that, I would still gravitate towards some of the software that's available now, just because if you're doing something on your own, it makes more sense. You could reasonably get it out in time, and then on top of that, since software has come so far, game development software, you can easily get it ported across consoles and everything anyways. So I actually would not advise against using something like Game Maker or Unity or any of that. Unity I kind of would, depending on what you're doing, because Unity is a little bit unstable. But something like Game Maker, I can't say anything too bad about it. Game Maker Studio... Normal Game Maker Studio is actually pretty fantastic. It's pretty solid. Game Maker Studio 2 I've not used, but I'm only hearing bad things from people that they didn't do anything to really improve upon it too much. There's features that make you go like, oh, neat. But then everything else is so fucked that it's like, okay, great. This is what I get for bringing my game over to it. I need to recode everything and restructure everything. I keep hearing complaints about how depth works in it, that they redid it. And it just destroyed a lot of games that people were doing before. I don't know anything about 2 though. I haven't used it, but Game Maker Studio itself is pretty good. And yeah, sorry. There's always Armenian kids street racing here. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm fine with stuff like that. I'm fine with software like that. In terms of learning the code, just learning it on my own, just reading wikis or searching around for any sort of documentation or information that people have. Reading community forums can be useful just because you can see people come up with interesting solutions to things, and then sometimes you can look at that and then factor in things you know on your own end and come up with your own solutions to things. You also learn a lot in terms of math by just programming all the time. Anyways, thank you for the donation. Kavengi Rockhawk64 donated $1. I know that's not him. He would not be doing that because he is probably busy with work right now. So let's read your funny joke message. Greetings from Germany. I lost my favorite body pillow to cancer. Put this towards the kill the animals, kick cancer's butt XD. Yep. Exactly what I expected. Thank you, funny man. Some guy with a top hat donated $1 and said, at least just say the last 2 syllables in vinegar. I get it. Pretty funny. Zarig donated $3.72. Why do people care about that so much? We've said it in videos already. Zarig donated $3.72 and said, don't play the games. Video games are gay. Just talk. No. I want to get back to playing... Katamari. Katisu. That's a weird spelling. Katisu donated $1 and said, damn, you nice as fuck. No, I'm not. Anything but. Believe me, I don't even need to. If I'm positive, it still reads as negativity. Don't you worry. Isabel Melhem, come on, you donate every stream. You don't need to keep doing this, Jesus. Isabel Melhem donated $5. Anus Penetratus, you donated before too, because I remember that's a Harry Potter spell. Donated $30 and said, hiya Dingle, have some money being one of the gosh dang nicest people. That's not true. Love your stuff, have a boy. Thank you, Anus Penetratus. Did we only ever say have a boy in one video? It's weird that caught on. It's weird that happens with a lot of with just things that we say. I don't even remember half of them either. I have people like quoting stuff to me and I go, what's that? And I have to remember that it came up. I forgot about that. Someone did an animated from Ukulele with the Hank Hill thing. I forgot that even happened. I think that's because I was actively avoiding watching that series, though. I already felt bad about that series, and even if we had funny moments in it, I did not want to see what the response to it was. That was in Crash Bandicoot, though. I remember that one. Have a boy was the thing that Julian said because he was tired. That was actually the first video I ever edited at the office, and I wasn't thrilled because the text that I put on the monitor was using a font I didn't want to use, but I had to fall back on it because I didn't have my fonts there. Grillver donated $2.54. Said, God bless your heart. Keep up the critical thinking. No, that's okay. I need to step away from doing that. Someone was just saying earlier that that my streams are really boring, and I think right now is a good reason why they are. Peener donated $3. Oh, Peener, you are a good, genuine boy. Weasels, isn't that a Pokemon? Donated $20 and said, you can read this part to yourself. I want to officially apologize. As an early fan, I used to be one of those fans who got dismissive when you gave your opinion, but listening to you as time went on, I was wrong. Please buy yourself curry. Because the laptop's on the floor.
Yeah, but the microphone's right here.
Julian, please play the Katamari.
I'll play the Katamari. I'm sorry it took so long.
That's okay. I gotta read the donations still. There's so many. But
You're ending already?
No. It's because too many came in at the beginning, so I barely played the game. But now we can have gameplay while I read them.
Okay. No. I'm gonna pick a different stage so that I know what I'm doing.
Oh, this is a new save file. Just
yeah, restart the...
Well, no, don't do it that way. Can you go back to the main menu, like the pick a save file?
I don't know. I'll save for you.
I barely got anywhere.
It's... okay. Wait, I can't see.
I kind of want to... Hang on, before you start, I'm going to have the stream go down and go back up, so this can be like an actual VOD.
What is a VOD?
So give me 1 sec.